Hello. Hello, gang. Welcome back to Darksiders 3. In a little over a week. Of course, Christmas came by, but, my day off was just before then, so I had to, like, wrap presents, do last-minute shopping, whatever. Then, I had to work on the actual holidays, so that sucked. Let me tell you, working in a hotel on Christmas, even worse than it sounds, right? You think maybe people are just gonna stay there and then they go visit their family locally and, like, it's not gonna be so bad in the building? No. So much garbage. Everybody just had Christmas in their rooms and they threw all their wrapping paper and boxes out in the hallways, no bag. Had to go collect all that, walk it from one building to the other, up and down the stairs. Oh, it was so much. I was pretty grumped by the end of my day, despite getting a lot of good stuff. Not to mention, I had to only freaking see my mom for like an hour. I see her like once or twice a year, and like, gets cut short like that, it's fucked up. Anyways, we're doing the Force Corridor. We can technically do the Ice one too, but we'll just do the Force for now, and then maybe do some exploring. Depends how long this takes us. Oh boy. Oh boy. So I didn't finish any games, I don't think. I didn't finish any shows either, though I do still have a small list of shows left to talk about. And I also started playing The Outer Worlds, which I think that we have like a discussion we can have already. So that'll probably happen a bit later. Then we have Christmas stuff to talk about. That's the plan for today. Oh my god. So is this supposed to be a shortcut, or can I fly over there? Secret, okay. Oh, not one of these guys. Why don't you just suck me off already, you fuck. What the fuck was happening? Okay, there's a lurcher. Let me absorb it. Okay, we can probably win. Ah, boy. That was something. Alright. Piece of adamantite, I'll take it. We're getting a bit of lag, a little more than usual. Very possibly because of Razor Synapse. So I'm going to turn something here down. Post-processing probably has the heaviest impact out of anything, right? There, that should ease things up a bit. Yeah, obviously the textures and drawing all the objects takes the most effort, but we're fine with that, alright? Textures is just video RAM. We're not missing that, we're missing like actual processing power. Alright, so Razor Synapse, I got a new mouse and keyboard. This is one of my things. They're not both Razer products, which is a bit weird. I might need like a secondary program for the keyboard. But it should be not enjoyable. Hopefully I can just like set it up once and then not have it running in the background or whatever. Because right now it's just kind of set to a wave of flashy colors. That's enough to function. We actually started the stream like 2 hours later than usual because I was opening all my stuff, plugging it in and such. I also got a mic stand for my desk, so it's like floating next to my head now. A bit closer, probably hear me a little clearer. Of course I've got filters on it now too, a little foam cover for the thing, pop filter. The works. And that took me a while to figure out too, because it wasn't necessarily out of the box compatible with my mic. I mean, it was, just not the way that I thought. I had to play with all the parts only to figure out that I didn't need them. Wow, that one actually dropped something for once. They're normally just guarding something. Which I guess is a better way to do it, considering how many of them I've knocked off ledges and stuff. Maybe they knew that was an impossibility for that one. Ow. This is one of those orbs. Some comes out of that wall too. Means I should look around. I also have to look for stuff that's out of reach because I have the boomerang. Still just a little jittery. Like, it's better than before, like the jitters are almost unnoticeable, but I'm sure someone is gonna have a tight asshole about it, because that's how the internet be. So maybe turn effects quality down too. Keep settings, yes. Yeah. Probably just means less particles or some bullshit. I don't even know if they'll have too big of an impact. What will ultimately end up happening is I turn both of those back up to high and reduce texture quality. Oh, I need to find the orb. So the thing about this keyboard, it has like the volume control buttons on the top layer, right? But it put like an extra boat on the side of the keyboard where like escape and tab are usually for all the macro keys, and the top space above that is completely empty, like above the F keys. And it's kind of throwing me the fuck off every time I go to Alt Tab and I end up hitting Special Key 2 Windows key instead. I think it's a really weird placement. It takes some getting used to. Oh, I see. It wants me to throw the boomerang. The complexity has evolved beyond just hit the thing with all the elements. Thought that was the boss for a second, and then I saw there were multiple. I mean, similar to the boss for certain. Damn. Punches like a fucking boss, god damn. see, so aside from my new equipments, I also got video games, of course. Did I talk about what I bought? I guess there would be like recommendations for Steam sale, right? Despite having not actually played them. Yeah, why not? Why not? So physically, I got Switch games, Metroid Dread. I started playing, of course, because it's Metroid, and you know I love Metroid. Look forward to talking about that. I got Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, which I've only heard amazing things about. I used to love the Donkey Kong Country games on Game Boy. No, I haven't played one since. Weird to think that Retro Studios is the people making them now, instead of Rare. Because they were, of course, bought by Microsoft, but, like, Retro Studios made Metroid Prime. And that's it, I think. You got that and the Donkey Kong games. Yeah, Metroid has some platforming in it, but you'd think they'd maybe be, like, the mature developer for Nintendo, right? Nah. They went monkey. Which, to be fair, very mature. Oh fuck, I didn't need to. Oh, the Eye of Sauron. Did anybody play Lego Lord of the Rings? It's kind of fantastic. Anyways, once you get close to Mordor, like in the open world segment, and you start like approaching an area it doesn't want you in yet because the eye is looking over there to like keep you from just walking over instead of playing the next level. It just like jump scares you with like a fucking, you know, movie real quality. It's not made of Lego's eye. And it makes like the fucking scary whispers at you. It actually spooked me, which is like really out of place for a fucking Lego game. Anyways, that one kicks ass. I know all the Lego games play roughly the same, so you gotta pick and choose which ones actually interest you. I think Batman 2 added the open world, and that was like a pretty big game changer. The Lord of the Rings one just goes through all the movies. It has like movie voice acting, like you're not just doing Lego mumbles. But there's also still gags, which is really funny to see. Like when Boromir gets danked at the end of the first movie, he gets shot with carrots instead of arrows. Ooh. I haven't watched those movies in such a long time. That's probably why it's on my mind more so than that orb. I really want to watch the director's cut, despite them being like 4 hours longer. we need to show restraint. If I'm gonna waste my time sitting in bed watching a movie, you need to have a lady around. Them's the rules. Otherwise, I'll have to waste my time sitting in bed watching something I don't want to watch. What is that, force? What's it do? Oh, it made it magnetic. It's pretty cool. And, oh, it's Y. No, it's B. I really wish they were just where they are on the gamepad. Ow. I was trying to make the jump, all I had to do was come in here. The orb. So does that do the same thing as the other ones, or? Nah, that's cool. And I'm guessing I'm holding the wrong thing. God. Gonna hit both of these. I'm guessing that it's gonna make a path leading straight up to the top. And now I can ride this one across. Oh, we went off topic. Super Mario 3D All-Stars. I didn't like go out of my way to buy it at first because I just assumed, knowing that at my luck, it was already sold out. Somehow my sister found a copy, which was of course only sold for like a single month before they pulled it off the shelves. Like, it's already rare. And the great thing about Switch games is they're not discs. Like, they can't get scratched as long as you don't freaking drop it in water or whatever. Even then, it's probably fine. You're good to play it without reducing its value too much. Pretty hyped for that. I have Super Mario Sunshine on the go. I know there are some phones now that are powerful enough to run Dolphin, but you still have to deal with it being an emulator and like faking the controls on a phone, which sounds god awful. Oh boy, the black man came back, and that didn't sound the way I wanted it to. Normally are they permanently dead? You know what I'm saying? see. My mother got us some wireless charging alarm clock things. Like, it's a power mat for your phone, and when you slap it on, it syncs, it displays the time that your phone is putting out somehow. That's pretty cool. I haven't actually plugged mine in yet, but I've seen my brother's in use. Mostly because I'm not sure where I'm gonna put it. Like, my room has one outlet in it, and it's right back there to my right. And I have an extension cord hooked up to it, and then like over underneath my computer desk there's a power strip for all the stuff I plug in. And then I have another small power strip in the other outlet there for stuff near my bed. Which I really need a better one for, because the plugs kind of keep falling out of it now, and like one of them is dead. Like, I really need a new power strip for that. No, yeah, it's pretty dope from the looks of it. Technology, wow. There's actually a Vulgar Mite up here, which is why I ran by those other enemies, because, like, I shouldn't have even had to fight them. I'm trying to get my ass back down there. Ow. Those are the games I got physically. I also got 100 beans for Steam. So I ended up spending a pretty massive amount on Steam. Mostly because, you know, $100 of it was free. And I feel like that maybe compelled me to buy more things that are a little more expensive than I should have. Like, you know, normally I buy stuff that's like $10 and under. I buy stuff that's actually on like a steep deal. Because, like, if I just wait till next year, it might cost even less for the stuff that was more expensive. But now I'm at a point where, like, the games that are so cheap that I'm buying them because they're under $10 are the things that I end up getting in the Humble Monthly. And then I'm like, fuck, I bought that. So it feels like I'm kind of screwed. And in the same vein, I also bought stuff on GOG, of course. And they are actually doing the flash deals this year. Which is something that Steam used to do, but they got rid of it because it was really anti-consumer. To explain, a flash deal is something where, like, every day, every like 8 hours or so, they swap out things that are like at a bigger discount than they normally are, because it's only there for a few hours, right? And what's anti-consumer about that is the game's already on sale normally, because everything's on sale, but then if you bought something and you see that it became one of the flash deals, you're gonna be pretty pissed off that like you could have spent less money on it, and then you're gonna schedule a refund and then you're gonna buy it again. And that's like a waste of the employees' time, and it's fucking taking money right out of the developers' pockets after they've already gotten it, which is kind of fucked up. And of course, it just pisses off the people who bought the thing originally. It's worked for them too. So, you know, it's kind of fucked up that they brought those back. As fun a concept as they are, like, they should be able to reimburse you or something if you buy something, if it goes on sale later. But you know they won't. As much as I like the concept of buying things DRM free, GOG needs a little bit of work. Like, for example, they gave out The Witcher 3 for free to people who owned it on Steam, right? And it's The Witcher 3, alright? It's one of the best games ever made. Of course, I already owned it. I bought it the day it came out. I pre-ordered it because I love The Witcher. And I bought all the DLCs. However, on GOG, they released the Game of the Year edition, which of course has all the DLCs patched in, but also has one additional patch, which doesn't really have any bug fixes. That's just kind of like a stamp that's the Game of the Year edition, which you can download for free off Nexus mods to make all the mods compatible, right? The reason I bring that up, though, is because I bought all the things after the fact. My version is not considered Game of the Year, so they only gave me the base game, not the Game of the Year edition on GOG for free. Which kind of fucked up. I understand their reasoning, but again, kind of fucked up. Especially since I pre-ordered it. Like, they can see that I pre-ordered it, right? Like, fuck off. And so with that explained, you know, the game's like $5 right now, right? The game's, I don't know, at least 5-6 years old by at this point. I think it came out in 2016. Maybe it came out in 2014, actually. The game's almost 10, maybe. And it still looks amazing. Wow. What was I saying? Right, so the game's like dirt cheap there. However, I have to rebuy all of the parts. I can't just buy the DLCs or upgrade mine to the Game of the Year edition and have them trim the fat of what I already own. Whereas on Steam, you can do exactly that. If something's like at a bigger discount, if you get it bundled with the art book and DLCs or whatever, it'll say, oh, you already have the game. So you're paying that price minus what the game was contributing. And GOG doesn't do that. That's the issue. That's the whole point of what we were talking about. Again, a little fucked up. So I'm seriously debating it, because I know my brother is going to play The Witcher 3 eventually, since it's on my GOG, and he has access to it. But he's not going to be able to play the freaking DLCs, which are honestly better than the base game. I mean, Blood and Wine feels like it's completely different atmospherically, but like it's fantastic. And then Hearts of Stone is just legitimately some of the best West I've ever played. Like, they're just really interesting. The characters are awesome. Like, I enjoyed both of them a lot. It'd be a shame if someone played without them. Fuck. By the way, my voice is better. I still have a lot of phlegm in my throat, like I'm hacking stuff up every morning. It really sucks. I used to be like that, like, when I got pneumonia, because my lungs were actually filled with fluid and I had to get rid of all of it. My mom only took me to the hospital after I hacked out, like, a massive thing the size of my fucking head. What was really strange about that whole ordeal is it took them like a couple weeks to even diagnose me. I was just fucking dying until then. Like once I was admitted to the hospital. I swear I was there for like 2 months. That could just be like my childhood brain accelerating time because how fucking bored I was. Like, I went back to school and I was like, what? What's even happening? And I got, like, shit-ass grades when I progressed to that year. It was, like, at the start of summer, so, like, it wasn't too bad. There were only a couple months of the school left, but still, I, like, completely missed that whole last part. And I didn't have friends, so it's not like anyone came to bring me my homework. Which again, I was bored, I was stuck in bed all day. I would have loved to do my fucking homework for once. So yeah, for a couple years after I was cured and they let me out, I was still hacking up a ton of phlegm, and then eventually just stopped. And yeah, it's really weird to be back to doing that every day. Like, yeah, obviously living your life a little differently is weird. But what's even stranger is that I've been through it before, right? So, like, I'm already used to it, and it's still not normal. That's like dystopia weird. Do they expect me to just run through here or what? Or it's just a treasure room, never mind. Holy shit, guys, I lied to you. I did finish a game. It was just a little anticlimactic, so I forgot. I finished Dragon Quest Builders 2. I just arbitrarily decided that I was done building for a while and I wanted to move on to the next game act. And that was, of course, the last one. So we gotta talk about that. Ah. So, after you've finally built your castle and then you dick around for a few months building stuff, you get sent back to the temple where the game started, and you're finally able to make a banner for the island. Which you make out of pixel art, like you put it in a big slot at top, and then wherever you fill that in becomes what your emblem is on a flag. And I didn't quite understand how that was going to work at first, so my flag kind of looks stupid with the emblem very clearly being a freaking PNG slapped on it because the colors mismatch. I also tried to make my own thing, and there wasn't enough space for the detail I needed, so I kind of went from making a sword going through a dragon into Sad Pepe holding a knife as my flag. So after you do that, the island finally has enough creative energy, and as the builder god or whatever who's been talking to you incredibly slow, there's text boxes in the game, right? And you press A to continue. When God is talking to you, it's text on the screen, as a cutscene, and none of the buttons are responsive. You just sit there and read it, at least 20 times before it finally moves on to the next text. It takes way too long. Anyways, as that guy told you, Malhalla, your best boys, who's secretly the Lord of Destruction, named after the boss of the second game, aka Dragon Quest 1, because the first game's called Dragon Warrior. Your creative power grows alongside his destructive power. So basically, the more beautiful the world is, the more he wants to destroy it. And once we've hit that limit, he finally transformed into his demon form. And you have to go after him, try and bring your friend back, or end up killing him, whatever it's gotta be. So you go through a dark portal into a sort of demon world called Malhalla. Mal, of course, meaning bad. So, I don't know, bad paradise. It's only full of monsters and shadow creatures, and nothing can really grow there except these gross blood plants. And there's spooky demon hands just destroying the environment constantly. Which, I guess are coming from Malhalla, he's slowly destroying the world. So your job in this act, is just to survive at first. Eventually, you just figure out that the monsters don't actually want to die, so they become builders with you. Even though they're in the Children of Hargon cult, which is all about destroying things. So you end up building an ark for them to survive, a spaceship, essentially. And you have to gather up the monsters, all different types. What's interesting is because there's no actual resources on this land, it's all barren. You have to use a cult altar to convert parts of Malroth's body into resources. Which is actually very useful when you get back to the base game, because they give you premium resources in large amounts. And you can set up a room to make all the citizens do it for you. And then the monsters themselves periodically drop parts. Like the slimes will drop oil, they'll secrete it, I guess. There's also like these gravity orbs that like consume everything that pop up periodically, and you build a car to survive those. And while the car is a cool concept, like in a voxel-based game, it's absolutely as jittery controlling as you'd think. Like, yes, it can go up hills and it's kind of busted, but like you're just going up one whole block at a time. It's just like really jittery on the camera. It's kind of shit. However, you eventually upgrade it into a flying car with lasers. So that's pretty sweet, having the ability to fly. Especially since that whole world has magic disabled, so you can't use your glider anymore. What's really messed up about the whole thing is you can recruit monsters to your island, right? And every monster has their own use. Like, if you get a golem, you can ride on them and you can just, like, punch down mountains to mine stuff really quick. Or there's, like, this bird bat thing you can tame and use it to fly. All the monsters that are from that last area are, like, stuck after the game is finished and they do not move back to your island. Whereas with the other acts, you always brought back some of the citizens. So that was kind of sad that you could bring back all my friends. Like, part of how the game was fostering a good creative environment was that the people came along with me. So, like, I wasn't just building houses for random people, which you can do when you find random people on the Explorer shores. So I was building houses for the people that I, like, knew, that they had personalities. So, like, Babs being a dancing girl, I, like, built her house in the back of a strip club. Right next to the sex hotel. And I wish that was a joke. That is legitimately, like, the room that I built. A love hotel. The strip club's a bar, but I made it look like a strip club because there's the dancing people. Or, what's her face? There were two girls from the first land named Saffron, who's the big sister, and then the little sister is maybe Lily. They're both flowers. And the little sister comes with you, and she wants to run a restaurant, so I built a restaurant, and then I built her a room in the loft above it. Yeah, like, I was thinking about the stuff that I was building to support the characters. So having more named characters with personalities was gonna be, like, it's important for me building stuff, it felt. And I was kind of disappointed that I couldn't bring any of the monsters from the final act with me. However, after you finish the final act, you can finally pull out the people you left behind of the other worlds. So some of the named people did end up coming back. What was really heartbreaking, though, is, in the first world, you have to tame a dog to find seeds. Because that's what dogs do, they point you towards seeds and you can dig them up. And I named the first dog Ichiban, named number 1. Because he was the best boy, but he's also the first dog. And I had to leave him behind. So naturally, when I got my hands on another dog, I also named him Ichiban to make it seem like he came with me. And when you beat the game, I find out I can take him with me. I can no longer take him with me because it doesn't support 2 NPCs with the same name, I guess. He's the only one that I wasn't able to import. Anyways, that act goes by pretty quickly. It's mostly like actual exploration than building. Like, the monsters do most of the building for you, and then like you just print some of the parts and put them in a locker. They handle all that for you. It goes by pretty quick. And you go through a dungeon, do a boss fight, and then you do a second boss fight in your spaceship, where you use all your ideas that you learned from the other boss fights to upgrade the car mid-battle. And yeah, it started out feeling pretty long, and then it turned into like a short fight with actual mechanics. It was good, I guess. Still, I kinda just had to sit there and hammer the shoot button to damage the guy, which is a bit annoying. Let's see. The game's not really about the story, so obviously you get your best friend back. And he's finally able to build stuff since you essentially exorcised the Lord of Corruption out of him. So you finally turn his club into a hammer, and he's like, well, it's so cool, bro. What was really funny is after you kill the first boss, you high-fived him back into existence. So, you know, power of friendship, yay. Now, what I thought is strange is, after the credits roll, you can load back into your game, and there's a little more dialogue. When you level up, you unlock some new mechanics or moves, like you can get a super slam to dig out a big section of rock, or they need an even bigger one. Or you can do like tag team moves with Malroth, because he was always in your party. Malroth is no longer in your party. You can add him back if you want, but like it's really weird that he's not always following me. Right. So, in addition to just a little more dialogue and the ability to free build import characters back from the other islands, you unlock like 4 more Explorer Shores, which means 8 more infinite resources you can get your hands on. One of them is gold, which is very important because I really didn't want to mine. I have like I have several inventory pages full of rock from mining. I just don't know what to do with it. But, you know, more infinite resources is just a great thing. One of the islands has underwater stuff, so I can build stuff underwater now, I guess. Because there's nothing really down there normally. I guess I could cheat this guy from up here since he keeps killing us. Damn it. So, of course, a couple of the areas have to do with the stuff that was found in Malhalla, so you can get more resources from that, set up a ghosty defiled region of your island. The issue is the island has been sectioned off into 4 areas already. So, like, normally you'd do the desert chapter and then you'd go to the desert island and you build your pyramid, or you do the farming chapter and then you go to the dirt land and turn it into grass. Set up a farm town or whatever. where am I going to set up this defiled land? There's not a place for it. Maybe I can find something if I go flying in the car, but, like, as it stands, there's not a place for it. I just have to, like, add an ugly part somewhere. I guess in the Snowland is where it'd be, since I already kind of built a swamp in that area. Like a poison swamp. Maybe I'll build it underground or something. It's also really strange is, like, stuff for the mine was a big part of the second chapter, and, like, I have to artificially build a mine if I want that to exist. Because there's no actual ore on the island. It doesn't want you to destroy it like that. So I did build one, but, like, it felt really weird and pointless. See, having access to more resources means you can build more types of rooms, so there's obviously more upgrades for your tools available. I'm currently working on getting an upgrade for my water bucket. The last thing I got was like a magic chisel, which lets me turn the blocks into ramps. Which I don't really use because it's like out of place unless I want to turn every block into a ramp to make things smooth. But in screenshots, I've seen people like make animals and stuff out of them, which is pretty sick. Someone built Noah's Ark on one of them. It had like flamingos and elephants and stuff. Rafts. Yeah, there's plenty of building left to do, and like there's those tablet targets, so like there's actual goals to it. I'm not just free building necessarily. And the game gave me more tools to make that easier. It also gave me the ability to spend gratitude, which is accumulated when NPCs use your rooms for whatever. Like if they build something, they cook in the food places, or you know, things like that. You can collect their gratitude and use that to unlock like special types of blocks normally, but once you bought all that, it's pointless. So you can now spend that on resources as well, which is very useful, especially for like rare things like gems they used to make dyes, or like for calcum they used to make legendary weapons. The endgame Explorer Shores also have like unique bosses on them to have a lot of health. So legendary weapons still have a purpose as well. They also give you the ability to set up your own Explorer Shore of like whatever size you want, whatever parameters based on the ones that already exist. Kind of useful. Especially with the way seeds work, like you need to build a big island and just dig up all the seeds from there because you can't just harvest them from plants. You plant the seed in the ground and then that's it. It grows however many times. And if you leave it there unharvested, your NPCs will safely gather it without destroying it. So I don't harvest them ever. Oh, I hope that was worth it. Oh, that's actually where I'm supposed to go. It was. I kept wondering how I was supposed to get up here without a double jump. I don't know. I didn't think the final boss was, like, as good as it should have been. But also, the game didn't have amazing combat by any means. I usually played it in first person because it was, like, shitty Elder Scrolls combat at that point. I played, like, Oblivion, you just in out to dodge. And again, the final act went by kind of fast, and I'm kind of disappointed that I didn't get to keep any of the new friends you made, but you do get to keep the car, so that's pretty sweet. You can also teleport back to the car, so like you can use it as a fast travel marker. Kind of like the power armors in Fallout 4. So I'm supposed to pick this up and then get my ass fucked. Messed up, man. Overall, though, I think it's a great game. I definitely enjoyed it more than Minecraft. Though not as much as Terraria, question mark. I might actually beat it. Terraria gets a little too difficult for me eventually. That's also because I'm a freaking dingus and I play on expert mode. Because bosses drop unique items. My brother's been playing Minecraft with his friends recently, and like it's a completely different game from what I remember. So much new stuff. Maybe I would like it now, I don't know. I haven't played it since 1.0 came out. Because I had already played for like, I don't know, 3-4 years. While it was still getting regular updates like that. Into betas and alphas. So I'm not sure how to rank it, like, objectively, like, compared to its, competition. None of them have good combat, like, Terraria's, you click the button and the guy doesn't attack. Minecraft, you click the button, the guy doesn't attack. This, you click the button, the guy doesn't attack. And yeah, there are a lot of weapon types in Terraria, but, like, the combat's still, like, as simple as all of that. There wasn't even like a dodge mechanic until they added the Eye of Cthulhu shield when the expert mode came out. So I guess there is a little more to Terraria's combat now. But, you know, I think that like it's not necessarily a ding against the game when there isn't really competition for something with good combat. Except hopefully Hightail. I haven't heard anything about that game in a long time, but I was looking forward to that one. I also briefly played Trove, which wasn't bad, but my account got hacked eventually. Yeah, Tryon World's security is like a fucking joke, and like, God, I'm pretty pissed about it. Not that my Tryon World's account being hacked means anything, because it's just like, I was only playing fucking Trove. Like, what are they gonna do? use my credit card that I spent on Trove because I didn't buy anything in fucking Trove. So I don't feel like I'm in danger by not having that account, but also, what the fuck? Why is that the only account I've ever had get hacked? So aside from that, like, it's just a box game. You freaking smash a block, you place a block. So, you know, that's 10 out of 10 and works exactly as intended, am I right? However, the tool system is very interesting, and how you can change the shape of blocks, or how the water pot is infinite. You just fill up with whatever kind you need. Or how there's like I think it's called a transformo trowel. You look down at the ground and you can change all the blocks of the same type into a new type. Replace them instantly without smashing them all first. And you do the same thing on walls if you switch to a different mode. So, like, those are all fantastic ideas, great additions, and there's the whole element of, like, the characters that I said, and, like, giving you little goals to build things, but, like, they're open-ended goals, so you can still build them completely the way you want. The castle, they set up the foundation. There was no roof. The rooms were not filled in whatsoever. I freaking built the whole top layer of it myself. I think that alone, like, in this kind of game, makes it, like, the best, right? That it didn't just give me the tools to be creative, it actively encouraged it. Whereas in Minecraft, you don't need to build anything. You can, but, like, the point is to get to the end, I guess. It never tells you to do that, but you can if you want to see credits. And, like, there's no furniture or anything in Minecraft. You just have boxes, things that are functional. You just slap down a dirt house, put a door on it, and I build a chest, and you're good. So, like, ranking-wise, I want to give it a perfect score for, like, its genre, but, like, in a more objective sense, as a video game, it's probably something a little less than that, because the combat's not good. Maybe we'll say 8. There is room for an improvement. I'd very much look forward to a sequel, though. I could also try playing the first game if I wanted, since I never actually played it. I just... You know, there's just more stuff in the second one, so I was like, what's the point? Same game, more stuff. So, yeah. Great. Freaking play it. I think that's storms. Might be able to make that work. And if I have that box, like, still over there, I can actually get to it. I might be able to jump to it from here, I'm not sure. Nah, it's much safer. Is this the way forward? Sounds like it. I don't want the way forward, I want to get back over there. Please tell me that thing's not alive. Ah, of course it is. Two hard dick boys. You don't want to mess with them. In fact, that's probably exactly what I'm gonna not do. Ha ha ha. Ha 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 ha. Later, losers. Not in the mood to get my ass pounded today. Let's see, like storm, fire, and it's all three of them. Figure out what this one does. Magnesis. Fire moves the box, of course. And this is for the return trip, right? Yeah. Yeah. Oh boy. Perdition enhancement. Oh, I forgot. It doesn't actually tell you about the thing when you pick it up. Ew, you can put this in your weapons, I guess, if you want. Like, you probably don't. I don't know. That's stupid. Perdition. Salvation, flight speed. Salvation damage per luminous visage carried up to 100%. Luminous visage are the skill points. So 5% up to 100 means I have to carry 20 of these to do double damage on my salvation. Which we do occasionally use to poke at enemies, but like, is that worth it? I don't know. I think you can buy the luminous visages in the store, so maybe, but would I rather just have a level out of them? Possibly. And that, it depends whether or not it scales with your strength or not, but really. Once you get to soft cap and it stops working out, it might be useful to have a 5% damage boost on it, like, I don't know. We probably won't play long enough to take advantage of that, honestly. Though it sounds like a viable strat for the arena. Right, so, back to Nishmas stuff. Fuck me. You know I bought the Outer Worlds, we already talked about that. I bought Wasteland 3. Anyone? Anyone? No, I don't. I didn't hear very much about it, to be honest. I know it got good reviews, like it's a good Wasteland game. But I don't know. And nobody talked about it. I guess it wasn't like as big a deal when it came out. Maybe because it was so long since Wasteland 2. But Wasteland's essentially the spiritual follow-up to Fallout. Which, you know, we played Fallout 1 a year or so ago and enjoyed it, even though it was blatantly unfinished. And I stopped playing Fallout 2 in the middle of it for some reason. It wasn't like I wasn't enjoying it, I think I was just in the mood for something else. Probably because I started playing it immediately after finishing Fallout 1. I was also getting my ass kicked when I went to New Reno, or whatever that place was. Like the Wendigos or whatever, they kept one-hitting me. I guess I wasn't supposed to be there right away, so I left for Vault City. Traveled with a caravan. That was cool and all. But the thing about traveling with that caravan is we encountered like endgame enemies, and the caravan took care of them for me because they all had laser rifles or whatever. They got lucky and incinerated them. But then I was able to loot endgame enemies. So like I have a super sledge. One of the best melee weapons you can get your hands on. And like, I'm still at the beginning of the game essentially. It doesn't feel right. I need to get back to that at some point. I just don't know when. I also bought Cyberpunk, though I don't plan on playing that for a long time still. So here's the thing about Cyberpunk. Yes, it's like buggy as fuck. From what I understand, it is a good game. Like the people who actually would look past the bugs and like played the game, enjoyed the story, did the quest. There's a good game in there. It needs to function. And until this point, it has not seen very many patches. Though they are working on them, they're just trying to push them out in large chunks, and I don't think that's necessarily a good strategy. Though their previous roadmap for post-launch content is also like completely delayed for like a whole year past where it was supposed to be. What's happening now is they plan on launching the next-gen edition of the game, like for PS5 and Xbox Series X. Which, despite being able to play them on those consoles, like you can buy discs for them, those are still like the same versions that are running on PS4. So, you know, it's gonna get a patch and potentially run a lot worse on those consoles, I don't know. But the plan is, whenever they launch that, like in Q1 of next year, they're gonna put out like the first actual major bug fix and try to give the game a second launch. So hopefully that works out for them. Otherwise, I've played jank games before. I can get past it, I'm sure. But yeah, I don't really plan on touching that for a long time still. Wait for it to function. However, the game has gone on sale like several times for half off since then, which is really sad considering that, you know, this is the year it came out. It shouldn't really be half off quite yet. That's just my thoughts. Apparently, Developers only care about like the first month of sales. They think that like that's when people who are interested are going to buy the game, and like anything after that is like a random spur of the moment buy. Like maybe you just saw on a shelf like, ooh, Cyberpunk, what is this? I've never heard of it. Which very much happens with a lot of games I buy. Or at least when I was going to GameStop still, that's how it worked. I don't really go into physical stores too much anymore. So yeah, maybe developers do think it's okay to sell things for half off only a month or so after launching. And maybe it is like financially stable too. Like I have no idea. I need to look at stats for that. I remember Doom 2016 being the same way. I bought it like a couple months after it launched. Same for Prey, which underrated masterpiece. Go fucking play Prey. I know it came out the same year as Doom, and everybody wanted to play Doom instead, but Prey's fucking great.
What would you... This will be fun for both of us. As you wish. Farewell for now.
I think that's all I got in GOG, though probably should have bought some of the stuff I bought on Steam there. How I'm looking at it currently is that that's an account that's DRM free, so like multiple people can log in at once. Which means that's where the games I share with my brother go. If there's something that he's going to want to play, which is probably like any RPG I buy, I'm trying to get over there so he has easy access to it. The thing about it though is it's all guesswork, but I'm trying to figure out what he actually wants to play. He just doesn't know. Right, he just wants Gothic. He wants Gothic 2 again, which, like, okay, Gothic 2 is alright, it's pretty good. I enjoyed it. I don't think that's the best thing. I think I would probably rather play an Elder Scrolls game with mods than go back and play Gothic 2 again. But aside from just telling me he wants more Gothic, he'll say, I want a RPG with role-playing and a dialogued experience. Like, you know, there are text adventures that are pretty awesome. I'm playing one right now called The Executioner, and it's pretty alright, and like, no, I don't want that because it's text, and it's not an RPG. There's no it's literally all role-playing mechanics. There's no role-playing mechanics because it's not an action game. Those are RPG features, not mechanics. What does being able to equip a new sword have to do with role-playing? And he just doesn't know how to, like, actually articulate an argument. He just uses buzzwords. Makes things very difficult to figure out. To me, a role-playing game is always something with dialogue options, right? Because I can actually play a character to influence the story. Diablo is not a role-playing game. You pick up loot, you equip it to make your numbers go up. It might change the way your character attacks a little, and then you hit enemies. And like, you're not actually playing a role; you're clicking things. You're killing slot machines, pinatas. And yeah, your character levels up. You might be able to build them if you're not playing Diablo 3. Well, like, I don't know, those are features of D&D. They're not necessarily role-playing mechanics. Alright, so that was just a tangent. See if I can remember what I bought without opening up Steam. Yeah, I bought Octopath Traveler. It looks very much like Bravely Default, which I didn't necessarily finish, mostly because it's on my DS. But the art style is fantastic, and the game's really small, actually, which, like, I'm impressed, because that means that the textures are actually, like, low-resolution pixel art. Placed on, you know, cardboard cutouts, like, there's no 3D models or anything in the game. Because the game's only, like, 2 gigs or something. So, you know, I haven't even played it, and I'm already a little impressed. Orcs Must Die 3. Yeah, I love Orcs Must Die, okay? Fantastic franchise. And while we can't talk about the third game, we can talk about the third game, Orcs Must Die Unchained, which is now defunct. You can no longer play it. See, it was supposed to be a MOBA, right? It took place after the second game, like the order's been reestablished, there are new characters, new mages, all from different backgrounds. There's like Pyromancer lady, there's Dragonborn dude, just like a guy who throws ice hammers and stuff. You know, lots of fun characters. You buy them, buy costumes for them, you can buy new abilities to swap out for them. And, you know, it was a MOBA, so you had 2 teams of people, each one, like, set out orcs against the other, and you had to set up traps, and people would come by and, like, disable your traps by hitting them, or they'd kill your heroes, who were killing the orcs, of course. And the goal was just to, you know, get your team's orcs into their portal. Kind of like a payload delivery mission in, like, TF2 or Overwatch or whatever, right? And, you know, I thought that was fun, I enjoyed it, but they just didn't want to make content for that part of the game. And eventually they shut it down, like, only half the game was alive. The other option was an endless mode. Or, yeah, okay, it's Orcs Must Die with new characters, and you can pay money to get components to upgrade your traps, and, you know, make them do more damage or add new effects to them. Which is why they focused on that part, because it's where the money was at. You can't reasonably put the trap upgrading and stuff in the multiplayer component, in the versus component, I mean, because that would be cheating, that would be pay to win. And eventually nobody wanted to play that part because it was just like, the soulless Orcs Must Die. Like, the graphics are already kind of ugly because they were meant for 2 waves of orcs to be going against each other. There's no PvP anymore. The maps were kind of interesting, but there was no story. And it's not like there was any, like, progression or not well-paced progression, because you get new traps at random, you know, or you'd buy them from the store directly, as opposed to having them rolled out to you after a few missions. And so, like, you know, it was at its core Corpse Gonna Die, but, like, it wasn't great, and, like, it really dropped the ball on what it was supposed to be doing, I feel. So I'm really sad that they had to shut it down, but, like, it made them make a third game, I guess. Which, of course, still has 2-player co-op, so that's good. Looking forward to playing that. Yeah, I've been sitting on Disco Elysium for a long time. I bought it initially, and I was waiting for the definitive edition to come out, since it has, like, voice acting and more story stuff, right? And that patch came out, like, a very long time ago at this point, and I still haven't played it. Like, I didn't even buy that recently, but it's on my list of things to do. Is this not... What? Oh, it's ice. I think I already have it then. With how the magnet works, I wonder what would happen when you activate it. Like, would you be stuck and just, like a mag train or a railgun just get launched up, or just pull you to one side arbitrarily? Would the game break? Developers, let me know, please. Like, it's obviously not a physics-based thing, so I don't think the railgun thing is actually in the cards. Would be cool though. What keeps dying? Speaking of jank games, I bought something called Fade to Silence, which appears to be some kind of Lovecraft action RPG. It's got mixed reviews. Like, the gameplay is where things are not so awesome, but it seems alright from what I've watched. I think I'll maybe enjoy it. It also has, like, survival game elements, because you're in, like, a post-snowopocalypse world. So, like, there's a Lovecraft monster, black goo thing, tentacles, as well as snow, and you need to, like, keep warm, you need to explore, you need to build a base and find survivors, and that's what interests me, really. That's why I want to give it a shot. Okay, so that orb is, like, on the other side of this pillar, isn't it? Like, I wonder how I guess I'd probably want this open so we can get back in from there or something. But no, I need that to move the boxes. It's really confusing me with how it's placed. What's really strange is there's not like a big reviewer who has covered the game. You know, he's got to watch one of those channels with like 5 subscribers that actually ends up doing something half decent. So the one I found for Fade to Silence is like a Scottish guy. Which, yes, of course I want to listen to the Scottish guy. Something on the back side of this. There we go. Okay. While I'm at it, channel recommendation, I Dream of Indie. They don't have very many subscribers either, but they actually cover basically every interesting indie game I see pop up on the store. Like, oh, I wonder if somebody's covered that. They put up like 1 new review a day. And, you know, most of the games are short, so it works out for them. Probably want to move whatever this is first, right? Yeah. And then I think that's probably blocking. So this pawn. And then is very possibly just an extra step I'm taking here. But it could lead to secrets, who knows? Yeah, I think that was just extra. Spellforce. So, Spellforce Reforced, I guess that was a free upgrade. I don't know if that was just like an HD thing, or maybe the game was bad and they had to relaunch it. But we got Reforced, Spellforce 3. Which appears to be like a CRPG, like a top-down thing. Characters level up, there's equipment. I think it's like real-time with pause normally, and you go explore dungeons and stuff. But then there's also parts of the game that are RTS. So you take those heroes, and you use them to fight armies, and you build structures and raise your own army. So like, it's like an open world Warcraft 3, I guess. Which sounds very interesting, especially considering that there's not a lot of games like Warcraft 3. And the game has 2 standalone expansions, I think, which were all bundled together for cheap. I think I paid 20 bucks and I got like 3 games out of it. Even if the standalone games are only like 10 hours long, that'd still be very much value. It's another thing that I've never heard anyone talk about, so I'm looking forward to it. It's been on my list for a while. Yeah, I bought another indie RPG called Aaron's Adventure. It's another one where there's no reviews in existence for it. But the ones that I did found say it reminded them a lot of Fable. So, okay, that's... You sold me. You sold me. I don't know, the reviews on Steam are positive too, so like I don't think it's shovelware. This is like a low polygon art style action adventure thing. Some Zelda elements, some Fable elements apparently. It looks alright. My expectations aren't too high for it though. Spiritfarer. The name kept slipping my mind. I was gonna say Wayfarer, which I think is something else. I don't know, it's just like a chill game. You build a boat, put houses on it and shit, take care of dead people, help them resolve their trauma or whatever so they can move on. Looks good. Made Yahtzee cry. So that's good. It has actual emotional impact. Yahtzee is, of course, another cynical British man. There's zero punctuation. Which are, like, really impossible to follow reviews, but I still trust them for some reason. Like, I feel like they're 90% a joke, but, like, he's very serious about what he's saying at the same time. You just have to figure out what his weird metaphors actually mean. Bought another Lovecraft thing called Sea Salt, which, so the creature that you guys know as Cthulhu is also sometimes known as Dagon. It's like a big sea monster. Lovecraft Elder God. No, this is the boss. I should probably bank these souls first then. And the game Call of Cthulhu or The Sinking City, or like, you know, the actual tabletop, those are all the same story based around Dagon. So Sea Salt is a Dagon story. You play fish monsters, like a horde of them. And it appears to be some kind of like Pikmin, or maybe like Apocalypse, the Greek mob simulator. And you guys know I love Pikmin, so that was enough to sell me, just horde management. Actually, a Necromancer game I think I forgot to put in my shopping cart. I might have to go look at that. Because, you know, more horde management plus RPG elements are in that one. It might just be called the Necromancer or something obvious like that, I'm not sure.
I'm here to restore order to the Serpent Holes. Any last words? I didn't think so.
Roarakk, Keeper of Might. Oh fuck, I have the wrong hollow clip. Hmm. I think that's all that I can remember, though there are more for certain. See what I can find. That's all my installed games. I installed all the small ones. Occupus Strip, Death's Door, Wildermyth. I'm just gonna say these out loud and talk about them later when we're actually in game getting our ass kicked. Journey to Savage Planet, Under Fire, hell yeah. Dragon Quest XI, Detroit Become Human. Looks like that's it. Kingdom Under Fire. That's a game. I remember playing a demo in Xbox 360, and I just played that demo over and over again. I never actually bought the game. It's kind of like Sacrifice or Brutal Legend, and how like you're on the ground and you manage the army like with hand signals and stuff. But otherwise, it's an RTS, and you can fight as well with your character. I think there's a town where you can go recruit new stuff for your army and buy upgrades and stuff. You know, that's all cool and all. It's also a sequel to like a Korean game that nobody played. What's even more Brutal Legend about it is that the music is metal at all times. You'll just be walking and it's just like, and you know, that just sounds awesome. So that sold me pretty easily. This second game, The Crusaders, is apparently a prequel, question mark. Sounds like it happens alongside the first game, but you play as different generals, like subordinates on their factions, which I have no idea. But it also has like an endless mode, like a sort of skirmish thing you can do, just play the game, and that lets you play all the characters from the first game. So people recommend playing that one if you're just trying to dick around in the game and you're not playing the story. Journey to the Savage Planet is a sort of puzzle game, I guess. Kind of like the recent Bug Snacks that I haven't played yet. You're on a Savage Planet, you find new equipment, you use fruits and whatnot that you find on the planet to solve puzzles, space jumping, and there is some light combat, you do have a gun, so I guess I want to compare it to Metroid Prime in a way. Looks like a good time. Detroit Become Human, that's a Quantic Dream game. They're so bad and so good at the same time, I don't know what else to say. Heavy Rain is a disaster masterpiece. Indigo Prophecy is actually a little better, but it's also still pretty cringe. I have Beyond Two Souls, but the reviews are so bad I can't bring myself to try it. I'm sure Detroit's gonna be an actual interesting philosophical thing, right? It's gotta be. Well, it's a PS4 exclusive, like that one has to have some budget behind it, right? Dragon Quest XI, yeah, that was kind of an impulse buy. Like, I beat Builders, and I was like, I want more Dragon Quest. And it's not that I don't own another Dragon Quest game. I have like 6, I think, on the DS. 3DS, I mean. But again, that's on the 3DS, so I'm not playing that actively. I've played a decent chunk of 8, but I think it's like a cost zone fallacy thing. Like, I was on an emulator, I didn't pay money for it, so I didn't feel compelled to keep playing, because it's not like I spent anything. I very much enjoyed what I played of 8, though. then Wildermyth. I think that was the last one on the list. That game just sounds really interesting, alright? So there are some pre-made campaigns, but you can also like make a procedural world, and then you just go on adventures with your party, do like Final Fantasy Tactics type combat. What's interesting though is you build the history of the world as you play. Your previous party's adventures become part of the lore. Any destruction you cause to the battlefield will remain. And if you ever come back to that area, if your party members die and you get wiped, maybe they had a kid at some point in their story, that can become a new character. You will continue with a different party. If they had cool weapons, that weapon might become a legendary weapon. You make your own Master Sword. So the game has emergent gameplay, procedural storytelling, legacy, and that all sounds very interesting to me. I had to try it. Another shout out to Kinseed trying to do the same kind of thing with Legacy. Made by ex-Fable developers. Dodged like when I did. I knew that was a delayed attack. Fuck. I was the animation locked for that one. So I don't think that anything I bought in that list was less than... Most of it was 50% off at least. I think maybe Death's Door, because it came out recently, was only 25% off, but like it was cheap enough for me to want it. I didn't talk about Death's Door, that's just like a Zelda kind of game. It looks fun, it has some Souls-like elements. You play a bird working for the Death Bureau, which is adorable. Some people think the game's really short because it shows you credits about halfway through, but if you like keep exploring, there's like the game's twice as long. So I think it goes from 8 to 16 hours if you're not a dingus. Which means that for the price I paid, it meets the really terrible dollar per hour ratio that some people like to price their games by. I really wanted to pick up Factorio, but it's not on sale. I was like surprised. Like, it's a high profile game. Lots of people have played it, talked about it. It's been out for a while now. Damn it. I feel when you wipe snot from your nose and it turns out to be a boogie. You get stuck to your fingers. Yeah, Factorio's not on sale. I was pretty disappointed by that. I would have picked it up otherwise. I was considering getting the Rift Breaker, but that's another one that's only 25% off because it came out like a month ago. That was the one from the Xmorph devs that looks very much like Factorio. Like, you do base building and then you go do RPG hack and slash stuff to build your base in a mech suit. Looks pretty sick. I think that's probably when I put Spellforce in my car when I was like, I want to build stuff. I've like trained myself to dodge whenever they start to animate. Stomp attack's delayed, so like dodging is bad for that. You just lead you right into it. Ah, another delayed attack. In my Steam library, it might have been a small mistake. I'm technically under NDA for a game I kickstarted. And that's in my library, though I don't think I showed my uninstalled games, so you might have not seen it. I don't really plan on playing it until it comes out, but I do have access to an alpha version of it that I'm not supposed to talk about. That's why we're not naming it. It feels really weird to say that I have an NDA for something. Almost as weird as having this freaking mic stand floating in front of my face. Like I'm a celebrity, somebody's interviewing me. So I know my hammer is much stronger at this point in time, but being able to get my health back is just too big a million. so I just am not switching back to it. Even though I technically should once my health is full. Maybe that's like a detriment against the game. And that the combat has potential to be more complex with how you're switching stuff on the fly. But you don't do it because there's not like a lot of reason to. And you might not even necessarily like the weapon that's attached to a certain form. Because Crosscode did a very similar thing with its combat, but like it actually worked there. And I was constantly switching stuff to target specific enemies or guard against specific attacks. That doesn't happen here. Speaking of Crosscode, I bought that for a friend because it's a masterpiece and you should all play it. I think it's like $10 right now if you can buy it. 12 if you want the post-game DLC, but it's a very long game, so maybe don't. See if you actually finish it before you buy the DLC. Or don't, it's an indie developer, I'm sure they can use the money. Every time, I just get animation locked and then he does a thing, like... What am I supposed to do? Not attack him? Yeah, I can dodge cancel out of attacks, but if I don't time it perfectly, then I'm gonna eat shit during the dodge too. Woo! Well, at least I wasn't there for a follow-up attack. Fuck me. Okay, he didn't do a wave. I can actually dodge away from that one and not get fucked up. As I train myself to dodge backwards at least. Ah! Fuck! As long as I train myself to dodge backwards, I'll be good. Why you go not dodging backwards, dumbass? Fuck. Alright, so obviously I spent a lot of money on all of those games, even though I got a gift card for like half of it off, essentially. But you know how Steam gives out the cards that you have to collect to make badges? I didn't get the cards I need for a badge. I have so many fucking duplicates, but I'm missing one card and I'm so tight. I don't give a shit about the badges, but like, I spent a little over $200, like, I should have been able to make the badge at least once. I bet the ice sword would be pretty cool here. Too bad it doesn't have any upgrades on it. Let's try it. See, like, that'll help me a lot if I slow him down for the attacks. Like, chill out, man. I bet the frost armor will be cool too. Did I even put an enchantment in? I'm not sure. Not yet. Wrath per hit and Ravenmouth. Yeah, that's pretty good. Like getting more Wrath and then using that to make the armor to protect myself. It's almost as good as healing, in it. I bet fighting a slowed enemy with the thing that increases your iframes is probably pretty busted. I'm gonna hit him with that before I even go in. Start stacking it up more. Once I have that active, I'm free of guards from the damage entirely. Ah! Okay, I'm alive. Well, we got farther with that strategy. I just need to get some upgrades on my fucking sword. I might actually have some. Like, I can probably upgrade that talisman I just put in it, right? And that would go a long way, I'm sure.
What would you ask of this humble merchant? Please take your time.
How long have we been going? I feel like I've spent like way too long in this dungeon. Only 2 hours. That's less than I thought, but I know, we're gonna kill this boss and probably call it. You know, I did start 2 hours late, so it makes sense for me to do a shorter one anyways.
You're full of surprises, horseman.
Oh.
Saving so many of these simians. You keep this up, and the humans may grow fond of you. As thanks, I can give you more power in that bauble. Aiming to lay down a mighty hurt, are we? Didn't think that was possible, but now you're even deadlier.
That's literally like half the damage the other things do. That's a problem.
It's possible, but now you're even deadlier. Some of my best work.
Yes, plus 10's the limit.
Some of my best work.
Quite like the talons.
Interesting. All right. Let's see what I can do for you.
Wrath per minute. Per minute is not per second, and 18 doesn't sound like very much. So, like, I think this is kind of the same reason I don't use the Leviathan this time. Like, it's really not that much. It's gonna be nice when you get the upgrade, but, like, I'm probably better off doing it per hit.
Possible. Let me think it was possible, but now you're even deadlier. Let me think it was possible, but now you're even deadlier. Interesting. Take care, and watch your back, eh?
Okay, well, we got some power boost out of that. When's the last time I cashed in all my things? When we were fighting Lust, right? Like, we should have plenty of literature clumps.
Greetings.
I want to actually buy stuff with these ones instead of all experience.
An excellent choice. An excellent choice.
I don't think that'll be enough to upgrade one of the things.
An excellent choice.
Yeah, I feel like I would just find these, but why wait?
A wise decision. As you wish. Do make sure they...
There's obviously not enough in the game at this point in time with how many new weapons there are for me to upgrade them all. So I'm gonna have to buy a few anyways. Might as well do it now.
What do you need? Aiming to lay down a mighty herd, are we? Some of my best
Wow, I bought just enough.
possible, but not anything that was possible. Oh, what beautiful havoc you'll wreak with that. Interesting. All right. Let's see what I can do for you.
Yeah. Get that at
Some
least.
of my best work. Interesting. Good luck to you, Fury.
Alright guys, math. 8 divided by 31. I should be able to buy 3 fragments, I think.
Greetings.
And that's not enough for an upgrade.
Take your time.
Oh, never mind. And get 15. I thought this costed 8,000 for some reason. Probably because this one's 800.
I knew you couldn't resist. An excellent choice.
Said I needed 6.
A wise decision.
3, 4, 5.
knew you couldn't resist. As
Upgrade throwing star while I'm at it. We're never gonna decide something to call it. It's not a glaive, not throwing star, not a boomerang. All of them.
Well, aiming to lay down a mighty herd, are we? Anything that was possible, but now you're even deadlier. Anything that was possible, but now you're even deadlier. Interesting. That's some
Coolio. I will dump the rest of that into Volgrim's mouth.
Goody, this will be fun for both of us. As you wish. Please take your time.
Alright, now our weapon is on par with the other ones. We might actually get further. And it's going to generate a hell of more wrath, so, like, survivability should go up. I have good expectations. I would have said high hopes, but I'm trying to like get that out of my vocabulary because I really don't like that song. I really don't like that song. Crap, wrong one. Oh. 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 Man, you see my wrath bar? Nuts. Aw. Oh. Ah! I slow threw off my timing of that one. Fuck, fuck, fuck. I know all I had to do was dodge. Internally, it wasn't registering which one that was. I know the stomp has the wave and the overhead is just... It's a small boy. It wasn't clicking for me, though. Ah! That was all me. So I know for the most part the armors all have the same stats, they just affect different elements. And they're all much more expensive than the last for some reason. But I believe the reward for completing this DLC is the abyssal armor, which should actually give us a significant defense boost, as opposed to just 15% or whatever we're getting from these current ones. Very much looking forward to that. It's not that Ice Sword's not working out. I think that's working very well. I just thought that, you know, since it's the beginning of the fight, I should just be trying to not spend any of my heals. Try to get the health back through melee. The issue with that strategy is that the timing of all the attacks is different when he's slow than when he's normal paced. And, you know, I'm trying to build up muscle memory. So I need to pick one or the other. hold on. All those orchards that keep coming out are filling out my bar. I figured that they wouldn't while it's being consumed. I think that means that if I was using, like, the fire aura, I could hypothetically keep that going infinitely. Sounds like a strategy, doesn't it? Especially since that fire aura is, like, it's not a burn effect. It's just individual ticks of damage happening randomly. So they still have the lifesteal effect on them. Oh wait, never mind. These extra lurchers, I think, are coming from the enchantment I put on, so like... You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't have the lifesteal anymore, that's why it would be invalid. I'm a bitch, man. Boy. Ow, barely made it. Is there a separate enchantment that increases how much I get from lurchers? Maybe I can combo that by putting it in the glaive or something. I was tempted to risk another hit, but I don't want to. Taste the stank. You do stink, boy. Oh. Oh. Oh no. Ah. That was the easy one. I still fucked it up. Forget about doing damage. I want my fucking shit back. Ow, whoa, 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 that's a new move. A move that freaking puts the thing that I already have trouble dodging somewhere else on the map. Doesn't look like he attacks during it though, but he might during his next phase. it's not such a big deal if he's not attacking during it. However, it means that if I happen to perfectly dodge it because I failed to jump over it, I wouldn't be able to counterattack. Which is lame. Fuck! I might pull out my Havoc form if I get him into his last phase here. Ah, why'd I do that? Is that a pattern? Are we noticing patterns? Alright, we'll try it. Hoping to get just a little more health out of him, but I'm scared. Oh my god. If I took damage coming out of that, I'd have been so fucking tight. Pretty tight hit me with that though. That long dick bullshit. Oh, my butthole is so clenched. Used a primo resource, so we gotta win. Not like I wasted one in the last section or anything. That'd be stupid. Trying to not be greedy as much as I want to be fighting him up close. I'm a pussy. Okay, we got shield up, baby. Let's go. Woo! Oh yeah, I forgot. God of War executions. Only bosses that do it. I turned him into a rook. The Axe of Scorn. It looks pretty metal. I don't know. I kind of like the hammer. I want to try the axe though. The force when Scorn taking the appearance of a giant axe here, you can cleave through her enemy's defenses and inflict severe damage. Shatter her enemy's defenses. Cleave through her enemy's defenses. What does it mean? Both have some attacks knock back targets. I think that just means the charge attack. I'm guessing cleave through just means it has like a wider range of attack. faster for sure. That. Huh. I already dumped all his resources into Mallet. I think the attacks are the same, but he swings the axe like wider, so like it's an actual straight line as opposed to being more or less entirely over her shoulder with the first swing. So it definitely will hit more attacks in an area, whereas only the second one would do an area on this one. And it's not that much faster, if any at all. The animations are very similar. Charge attack's the same. And I've of course already dumped a ton of upgrade points into this one. Not that it matters since I can buy them all infinitely now. That switch didn't happen. Nah, it's definitely faster. I was kind of talking about my ass about the shoulder part. That first swing is definitely still the same. Can't tell if the range is bigger. I think it is. And there's more of a follow through on the upward swing. Like it goes all the way behind her. Maybe it was able to hit behind her. I think I'm actually gonna look up what the difference between the weapons is, if I'm just like pulling out my ass or not, but I like the axe, I do. I also like my mallet, and I've stuck a lot of upgrade points into it, so I'm probably gonna stick with this for the time being. And we might switch to this at a later point. I really can't decide on that one. It's not like the claws and the nunchucks where I actually like the claws a little better because they're slower. And I don't know, I kind of like this blade thing better. Kind of. I still don't use it for some reason. Alright, well, we can technically go into the stasis corridor now, and being that should get us our final reward, so maybe I should go for that? I don't know. That boss was tough. Like, I could go explore, maybe find another heal or something for us. Go a long way. EBH.
You are tearing through these invaders like a plague. Nothing will stand in your way.
Including you, demon.
Oh, I am fully aware, Horseman. The Stasis Hollow has opened a new entryway. You'd be wise to explore it, for both our sakes. Greetings. Please take your time.
So I think I decided that I want to explore, which means we should probably start down here at the north end. I think this is where the game started. And obviously we're done, like we've played a decent while. And my head kind of hurts for reasons I don't understand. But I think next time we're going to explore, and then I don't know if we'll go into the stasis corridor yet. We might end up going into the Scar instead. Because if that one took a whole session, the next one will likely be the same. So, like, I want to like make progress all in one. So that's how that's gotta be. They got me working through New Year's as well. I I don't know, we'll probably still be good for a week from now, right? Probably. Oh, I never even looked at what our upgrade we got was. Archers when killing enemies, Wrath reward from Wrath Lord. Knew that was an effect that existed. More health. Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Okay, well, yeah. Week from now. I'll see you guys then. I will probably have finished a game by then too, so look forward to that. Alt tab. I'm pressing Windows key like I said before. The new keyboard's got a boat on it. Why is this still open? I swear to God, I closed all the tabs and things I was looking at. Anyways, bye-bye.